Hey guys, welcome to the Save Session, the sessions you always want to save, and we had some interesting topics here, but one of them we wanted to go over is there's a lot of shows coming out, and none of them have been the best quality in our opinion, and we just wanted to rapid fire to you some shows that we thought were really great, but then ended really bad in our opinion for one reason or another. And Bruce, you seem you had a lot, so why don't you let me get a little insight. What you talking about?
Okay, so first, unfortunately,
You have to put up the feet.
for everybody who is a fan
Going full psychiatrist mode. So, for everyone who likes the...
sphincter.
Well, moving on.
Well, a show that I think did not end very successfully is Code Lyoko, for everyone who was a fan.
Yeah, I've never seen the full thing. I remember liking the series. I never watched the full thing. Plus the intro. And I don't remember the rest.
I do, unfortunately. I have it saved on my phone. It's
But like
3 minutes long.
Yeah, the intro where it's like...
But season 1 through 4 were pretty interesting. It's I think it's like anthology based because like each episode isn't really connected in the slightest, except for like, hey, we return to the past, we rewind whatever catastrophe happened.
Yeah, they were episodic. Then they kind of grew a story later on because they actually
wanted some episodes that were actually
because I know they added a new character, like a guts type character, where it's like. Yeah, William, and he had like a big gut sword.
Yeah, he was really cool. Unfortunately, he got possessed by Schipazoa.
But I thought he was just like naturally evil, like he was like a double, like he was a double agent or something. For like
in season 3, what happened is there was this thing called the Schipazoa. The Schipazoa is kind of based
you sounds like you made that up.
Exactly. And the Schipazoa looks like that one Pokemon that you have to turn the DS upside down to evolve. It's Megaform. Yeah, its Megaform looks like a Schipazoa from Code Lyoko. And the thing is...
Or Malamar.
Probably. But that thing's whole purpose was to completely erase Aelita's memorial data. So if that hits 0, she's taken over by Xana. She's a bad person now, and she's like effectively going to screw the entire planet up. The Schipazoa ended up taking all of William's data. Which means he was effectively trapped inside of Lyoko, and there's nothing he could do to get him out. Only Xana's the only one who could send and or put him back. So that is effectively what happened on the last episode of season 3. Is William gets completely corrupted, and Xana takes a hold of him, and they're trying to spend the entirety of season 4 to restore Code Lyoko because Xana effectively destroyed it. So they replicated it to try to...
I do remember that. My brother told me about that. I did. And remember, by the way, this is heavy spoilers for everything we're talking about here. Yeah, you kind of jumped in without the spoiler warnings, so...
The show is super old and it was on Netflix, so if you haven't seen it, you should have seen it.
I know, Kiwi, we all should have seen it. It's a pretty good show.
But, unfortunately, season 5 is the talking point. Where season 5 they transitioned to live action, so all the kids were real actors now, and then how they animated the Lyoko forms and everything else was just kind of, it went from this is understandably kiddish to kind of overwhelmingly kiddish. Because like, to be fair, the portions of Lyoko in season 4 when they went from the virtual world to the virtual real world was kind of like, it was cool because their Lyoko forms were a part of their actual forms. Although season 5 just went like, yeah, we had a clear plan. Then
what you're telling me, it kind of sounds like those Ben 10 live action movies, where it's just like they had like the horrible CGI, they had the kind of really bad storytelling, and basically it's like they took the cartoon writing and tried to make it into live action, and of course that kind of didn't work.
It didn't work in the slightest.
And even I remember seeing a commercial.
That was actually pretty solid, to be honest with you. Like the whole virtualization process, that part was cool. The scanning process was super cool.
That was
the execution was terrible.
That's what I always liked about it, is like they go to a virtual world, but they get these unique powers. Like the blonde kid, he's like a tiger and he gets a laser arrow for some reason. The one dude's like a samurai, he gets a katana. One of them's like, I forget what they're called, but it's like one of them ladies that fights with a fan.
Yumi, she has the little fan things and has telekinesis.
But I know there's like an actual martial art for it, but I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, she somehow is a master in that, or at least studying in that, but considering how they're children fighting virtual monsters that have no...
Yeah, they gain all the skills like when they go into virtual reality, like They did no training to get it. It's one of those kid things.
Luckily, Auric and Yumi were actually already like training and they fought each other quite often, to be fair, but that's how they practiced their martial arts stuff. And
I was kind of figure it's kind of like Digimon, where it's just like, once they Digivolve, they've never hit this form before, but they know what they're doing already.
that's been them as aliens too. Like this is pre-programmed in the watch to be able to understand what the species-based knowledge of its capability is. But yeah, Code Lyoko season 5, nuts. It's wild. The jump ship is crazy. And to be quite honest, it was just like, not only just like out of nowhere, they didn't announce that it was on YouTube for one, because season 5's entirety is only on YouTube.
I think I watched a little bit of it on YouTube, but then, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little.
It's also only in French.
The one I saw was in English.
Oh, they may have upgraded since then. Can you relax?
I know she's just so excited for our topics, but that's one of yours. But hey, you mind if I move on to one of mine?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Stranger Things.
Okay.
Because season 1 and 2, they were a little slow, but it was a nice little drama, especially since it starred kids, to show like a gripping, like sure they went a little easy on them because they were kids, but it delved into some harsh realities of like the Demogorgon and kidnapping kids, it absolutely eating people and then taking them and using their body for, God knows whatever.
What did he say?
Season 2, basically you learn, spoiler alert, quite a bit happens. Their friend Will gets, poof, disappeared out of nowhere. Like he disappears, no one can find him. And then the sheriff starts noticing that there's some kid running around thinking that the military Hawkins lab has something to do with it, tries to track this kid down, thinking it's Will. But he finds out that's actually some other different kid, which the group of kids, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas find. Her name is L, short for 11, because she has 11 tattooed on her arm. They have no idea what's going on with this girl, aside from she can use psychic powers. So, for some reason, their friend Will goes missing, but instead they find this little girl who has psychic abilities, and we then learn where he potentially went. There is a parallel world to ours called the Upside Down that teeters like right on the line. So basically it's like a flip mirror image of ours, where our world is full of life, that world is full of nothing but death and decay. And that was where Will got taken. Why or how, we don't know. That's for a future season. Season 2 is when we get the idea that there's actually something more intelligent out there. Which we kind of knew about that because of the Demogorgon. Because Demogorgon, when it kidnapped you, sometimes it would put your body up and use you for some sort of experiment. I forget exactly what it was because it has been a little while since I've seen season 1. But I remember that was the main reason that Will got kidnapped, was to be a conduit for this new powerful entity that's in there that they called the Mind Flayer. And, excuse me. But the Mind Flayer, it's a little tricky how they describe it. It's an ancient being, so ancient it doesn't even remember its own origin. And all it thinks about is just conquering. It just wants to conquer everything and anything. And funnily enough, it finds this new world, tries to use Will as a conduit to break into that world. So season 1 and 2, we just get a very nice setup for a new world. We now get a main threat from that new world, except for the, Demogorgon. Then season 3, that's when it starts going downhill. First off, Mike and Elle start dating at the end of season 2. And
how many seasons are in this show, by the way?
5.
Oh, God.
Within first episode of the season, they break up. Well, after one episode of them being together, the sheriff who adopts Elle forces Mike to lie to her, and then they break up because she doesn't like liars. And then it becomes kind of a teen drama where basically she can spy on them with her psychic powers. And Mike was talking to his friends like, girls are just kind of like a different species. And then Elle was talking to her friend who's a girl, Max, like, two girlfriends. She said, well, what's a species? And Max is like, oh, he did not say that. I'm like, Is this Stranger Things or is this like Teen Wolf drama? What's happening here? Like, this is not why I signed on for Stranger Things. And then they find that a mall was built, and a new mall was built to hide a Russian experiment that was going to open the portal back to the Upside Down because it was closed in season 2. And then, so basically it's just a mind flayer trying to enter our world again. Then season 4, we actually get kind of some good writing where I thought the show was picking back up with this dude named Vector. And what he wants to do is he basically is a slave to the mind flayer and is doing its bidding. For the longest time, I thought they were the same thing, but season 5 cleared that up. No, they are not. But yeah, the whole season 4 was just a little rocky, but it got the point across because then we get this new dude who's just super evil and wants to take over just like the mind flayer. Then at the end of season 4, he actually does it. Basically, he completes this ritual where he kills like 3 innocent souls, and it opens up the portal again, and all hell is breaking loose. And by the end of season 4, you're like, oh my god, this horrible stuff just happened. Like, how is season 5 going to kick off? Season 5 kicks off, it's a sunny day, kids are singing and running along, everyone's just happily going to their job, and then, what?
Isn't some kid reveal that they were gay in that season?
Yes. Well, which I really have no problem with that, but they kind of made it a little bit bigger of a deal than I thought it was. Because somehow being gay was somehow the answer to accessing his powers, because he got powers because he was linked to Vecna the whole time. It was Vecna, not Vector. He got powers from being connected to Vecna from being connected to the Mind Flayer for so long. So, Will finds out he has powers in season 5, but it starts off with, just like I said, hell opened up in the last season. You're like, this is going to be big. We're going to start with a big fight. Nope, everything's just normal and sunny here. Back in, Hawkins. It's like, what? You made it seem like all hell had already broken loose. And then the military is just free to go into the Upside Down, which is the Mind Flayer and Vecna's domain. And I'm like, you're just letting people just have free residence in the Upside Down? Like, what? And yeah, Will admits that he's gay, which gives him full access to more of his power. And then there's just so much wrong with season 5. And then, not only that, everything, I remember it was, I think, episode 6 of season 5, where it was like 2.5 hours, like a movie's length. It might have been a little shorter than that, but almost 2 hours of just constant exposition and talking about nothing. They were just talking. Because now Mike's little sister Holly, who has never been a big player in the 4 seasons, is now suddenly a big player and like the main character of the new season. And then Mike and Elle, they're basically background characters now. They don't even act like they're a couple anymore, or they even love each other. It's only at the final episode, in the final scene with them, that they actually act like they give a damn about each other.
Teenage romance.
Mm-hmm. And then the biggest bombshell, we find out how the parallel universe Upside Down is not a parallel universe. It's actually a wormhole. Which just felt like another quick, yeah, gotcha, it was different than what you think. Everything's different now. It's like, not really, just felt like a lazy attempt to felt like a lazy attempt to kind of just hit you with something unexpected, but clearly it feels like it wasn't planned. Seasons 1 and 2 is my biggest problem with it is seasons 1 or 2 felt like they set up the groundwork for some great, just a lot more great characters, a lot more great writing. And then season 3's like, yeah, they're just making this up as they go. I thought it was one of those ones that had everything like planned out where they wanted it to be. Yeah, season 3 convinces me now they were just making it up. Along with season 5. It was just super disappointing. I don't think it's one of the worst series of all time, but that ending was way too freaking long and also didn't answer all the questions. In fact, the military falls them down there because they want 11, because they want to make more like psychic people super soldiers. But then Elle, again, this is all spoiler alert, fakes her own death. either she actually died or she faked her own death. It leaves up to your interpretation. Did she or didn't she? And what was that voice crack right there? But it leaves open. Did she or didn't she? And after she died, suddenly it cuts to them, and they're living a peaceful life, now that the day is saved, the Mind Flayer and Vecna are both dead. I'm like, so the military just let y'all go? That's not how the military works. Like, it had them captured, handcuffed, in custody. Elle just died, and they had to be like, well, Elle was our target. Nah, you ain't worth getting our boots dirty. Yeah, you can go. Yeah, I know I just kind of went on a little bit of a rant there. Some of it coherent, some of it not, but there's just so much wrong with this season. Just, again, and the problem is, no one but Nancy and Hopper know how to handle a gun. There is a team of like 10 or 15 people, teenagers included, with all the things that they've done. You would have thought one of them learned to nut up and pick up a fucking gun.
Did you just self-censor yourself?
No. That's just how I talk when I'm a little bit angry and don't want to shout about it.
Okay.
Want me to say it out loud? No one has the nuts to actually just pick up a gun. Just like, hey, Vecna, how you doing, bud? Pow! Okay, problem solved. Everything's solved. Let's all go home. Let's eat some Eggo waffles. Just forget about our troubles.
How did we transition to Eggo waffle?
Because at 11, that's her favorite snack, her favorite food. Yeah.
But anywho.
Yeah, but that is Stranger Things in a nutshell, in my opinion. Just a lot of inconsistent writing, a lot of stuff that started off great, but ended really underwhelming. I don't think it's bad. It was just super underwhelming. I know you haven't seen it, but you also have no interest in seeing it.
Yeah, after I saw the meme of them making fun of like, hey, he comes out as gay and somehow got stronger from it, and I was like.
Well, also, a lot of people made fun of that his coming out scene was longer than the actual final fight scene.
That was the real important scene, bro. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the community knows that.
I am very pro LGBT. Like, anyone can do whatever they want, but at the same time, it's like, is this really the great writing we came here for? I kind of want to see more of a giant fight with Vecna. I want to see more of the Upside Down. I wanted to see all hell break loose. But, we just got some kind of underwhelming. But anyway.
I feel that, because, like, speaking of underwhelming things, dog.
What you got for me?
Let me tell you about the travesty of 7 deadly sins, dude. Think of One Punch Man, right? Mm-hmm. Season 3. I think that's the newest one, correct?
Yeah.
That's getting a part 2, by the way, next month. I believe it's season 2 of 7 Deadly Sins. Mm-hmm. But the first season, it wasn't perfect. It was pretty solid, well done, nice. Everything was flowing correctly. Mm-hmm. Tell me why in season 2, with one of the most important fights in the show at that time, it was Escanor versus Meliodas, because he just unleashed his demon powers because he's a demon that's disguised as a human, or just he's the son of the Demon King in this sense. And
it wouldn't be an anime without the son of some sort of demon, would it?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, confusing loop. Like, he was the son of a demon king who fell in love with a human, but because the human got cursed by angels, she's on a time loop to die every time she realizes her power, which restarts her loop. So she dies, reincarnates, and he goes to find her every time. Like, that's the curse that they possess, because it was an angel trying to be loved by a demon.
I think maybe I heard about that, because I think Death Battle may have had one of the characters, or that character. It was
probably Meliodas, yeah.
Because is it the thing where he turned into a one big shadow monster, but someone had to save him from himself, so he wouldn't become that shadow monster? Yet somehow that would have unraveled all the time that they had, but they didn't for some reason.
Pretty much. And it's really confusing. But the equivalent of this fight, and I kid you not, if you think One Punch Man scene where Garo slides down the field is bad, you haven't seen Tragedy. Because the greatest, I kid you, I cannot make this up. Take Spooderman, right? If Spider-Man 3, every Spider-Man scene was made with Spooderman, take that. Or like, take a 5-year-old drawing your favorite character, but instead of like nice and perfect, he's like, his chest is just 2 giant circles with circles for the rest of him, and his head an oval with scribble for hair, and just going like, and this is an actual animated thing you can look up. And he like, in the fight, Escanor knocks him down. He's like this and just rises like that. And you're just sitting there just like, what the fuck is this? Like, if you think Super is bad, Seven Deadly Sins' animation was so bad. It was so... I couldn't watch it, bro. I couldn't watch it. It was... I don't... like... How do you... It's like if someone messes up a grilled cheese and forgets the cheese and the butter and the bread, and they just put nothing in the pan.
Or they actually just take the cheese, don't put it out of the wrapper, just throw it in the pan like, here you go, grilled cheese.
Even better. It's like they put the wrapper of the cheese on a plate and gave it to you to eat that. Oh, wow. Oh my God. It is so bad, bro. Like, it makes that Garo scene look like peak animation. I swear to God. Swear on my life. I'd get a tattoo of it if I would.
At least the new JoJo scene showed how to do sliding with the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, JoJo showed them how to get it done.
Dude, like, I had to drop it because after seeing that, I thought it was fake. That was an actual aired episode. It was bad. Oh, God. And that was the entire season. That just reminded me, they replaced blood with glowy white liquid. Now imagine, Pete game, envision this. Boss fight.
I need an adult.
You get stabbed.
Help.
White's in there. The main character, he's holding like this. And then white stuff flows out of his mouth while the...
I don't like this conversation anymore. This is a bad topic. I'm turning away. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable.
It gets worse. Like, do you know how upsetting it is to go from, we're going to play chicken. I don't want to play no chicken. And Escanor's sitting there just like, all right, bet. Here's the deal. I'm going to stand right here, and I'm going to let you hit me. And if I flinch, your commandment can kill me, right? He tanks it. He was like, I feel pity that you think your attack was strong enough to affect me. My turn. The commandment runs away, petrified by his own effect, kills him. Then you go from, who decided that, to... white stuff. Next topic, man.
So, yeah, I mean, I've gotten that mad over some things before, but those were movies where we're trying to topic about shows. Yeah, I mean, I've told you about some movies that rub me the wrong way, like one of them being Rise of Skywalker being my least favorite. It gets me that mad if I get into the nitty gritty, but this is about shows, not movies. But the next one that I had, to let you calm down a little bit, buddy. So yeah, hey guys, we had to come back from an intermission. Bruce, you all cooled off?
No.
Anyway, okay. We're gonna move on with mine, which is Steven Universe. And I think you had mentioned earlier, like, you saw like in a cafe and he was older, right?
Yeah.
Because that is technically the epilogue series, Steven Universe Future. Where all it is the entirety of Steven Universe happened within, I want to say, maybe 2 or 3 years within Steven Universe time. But then later on, like he was 12 or 13 when the series ended. And this new one happens like a few years later where he's like 15 or 16 at the time. And that all started from the Steven Universe movie, which again, we'll get into it. Season 1 was pretty good, but it was like more episodic. But it clearly showed it had some sort of deeper lore that they just weren't getting into yet. But then they finally get into that there was a big, gigantic war between all these gems, and Earth was basically the home of the rebels from Homeworld. So basically, they tried to fight and rebel against Homeworld. Homeworld's just like, if y'all don't want to listen, we'll just kill y'all. Poof. They're like that thing from Rick and Morty where it's like, oh boy, here I go killing again. Poof. Just trying to murk all of them. But then, the main leader, Rose Quartz, she survives along with a handful of gems. And basically, she decides, because the war was over at that point because the gems thought they won. Like the gems from Homeworld thought they won and left Earth alone. But they just decided to live peaceful lives on Earth, just trying to protect as many people as possible. But then Rose Quartz just went, you know what, I want to have a kid, even though technically I'm an alien and, my biology isn't compatible with humans. So to have a baby, I can do it. I just have to give up my life force to create a new child. So she did, and she did with a man named Greg Universe, who then birthed Steven Universe. But in birthing him, she had to sacrifice her own life in order for him to be born. But during the war, she got up to a lot of naughty, naughty things. And now the whole show, you learn, is just basically Steven cleaning up after most of her messes. I don't know if that's how it was originally supposed to go. But I know, like, the main big twist at the end was supposed to be, like, so the gems on top, they're called diamonds. We'd been introduced to blue diamond and yellow diamond, but then there was a third one, white diamond, but there was actually a fourth one that we learned long before, and her name was pink diamond. And we learned the oh-so-obvious twist that Rose Quartz was pink diamond, and she faked her death. And that death scared the diamonds so much of what the Earth rebels were capable of that they decided to nuke the planet. Luckily, the life survived on it. It was just mainly a nuke that mainly targeted gems, I believe. And also put in a super secret weapon inside the core of the Earth. That would eventually make it nothing but a mining resource a lot later down the line. So it started off for kind of like, in my opinion, kind of like Avatar, where it's like, sure, yeah, it's a little fun and stuff, but then as it goes on, you learn, there was some horrific war that went on, and you learn all of the impacts that it had on all the citizens, all the gems and everything. One of my favorite characters being Garnet, just because she was so badass.
Dog, it was crazy to me to find out that she was a fusion.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the first early twists of the series. And actually one you can actually see, they all confuse, and all of them, Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst fused into one person to try and pose as Steven's mom, so he could not date, but like still hang out with his friend or girlfriend, Connie, because her parents are super strict and wanted to know Steven's parents before they continued just hanging out, being friends. They weren't officially a thing, just, they were kids, but clearly they had feelings for each other. But they did that, and for whatever reason, they became unstable. Fusions outside of your own gem race are strictly prohibited. So, like, usually the guards are rubies, and rubies always fuse, but they always fuse with other rubies. And when that happens, usually they just say, I'm just always myself, I'm just bigger.
I think it's weird that they fuse by basically making out.
That's not typically how it happens. Like, they're very wish-washy in how that works.
Like, it feels
like it's not really making out. It was
intimate, though.
Yeah, sometimes it can be, because a lot of times it's just dancing. But some other times all I have to do is be near each other, be compatible, and want to fuse, and then boom, they just fuse.
Oh, so it's
so sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
When they do, I need them to stop, because I was like, when I saw that too many times, I was like, y'all got it. Mm-hmm. I'm cool.
Yeah, it's very like LGBT progressive, which, like I said, I really have no problem with. I do think sometimes it did get a little intense, but I personally had no problem with it. The problem I had came from later episodes, where season 3 ended with basically they fought off this character named Jasper, and finally we got the reveal that the reason everyone's so mad at Rose because she supposedly shattered Pink Diamond. That's the story that Rose decided to fabricate in order for the gems to leave her alone. Not really realizing when you say you killed one of the leaders, that'd probably be a bad frickin' idea, because they'd probably go nuclear, which they did. And then, your future offspring that you want to have would probably be cleaning up the mess, which he had to. And everyone still grants her as like this big war hero. I'm like, nah, she was just kind of a selfish, spoiled little brat.
That's insane.
I mean, that's what she was.
Was that the thing right there that just like made you go like, what?
Well, no, what happened was that I was still on board with just because I really liked the characters. I really liked the charm of everything. Season 4 is where the writing really dipped off, mainly because we just got more and more episodes. There's two sides of it, the gem side and the people side, on where I think it's called City Beach. I could be mistaken, but basically that's where Steven lives, on that beach in this town, and it just focuses so much of them and their little problems, which is cool and all. But when you've established this much lore and this much, what am I trying to say here? Basically, at that point, you should be ramping up, not ramping down. And Steven Universe had a history of doing that. They would ramp up, way ramp down. Ramp up, way ramp down. And there would always be so little lore episodes compared to what, especially fans like me, wanted. So every time we got a lore episode, the lore episodes were great, but everything else was just standard and just kind of mediocre. It's like, okay, that's cool. This person feels sad because her sister isn't, respecting her time, is asking her to work at their family business for too long. That's cool and all. I want to know what's happening with Homeworld right now. We've had all these episodes giving us the lore and the backstories of all these characters. It's like, cool, how about you actually do something with that? Because we've already established them. How about we focus on the place we don't know that much about? And then season 5 wasn't much better, and the finale didn't feel very final because White Diamond is like, yeah, I have supremacy over all, and you're just acting a little coy, because they still believe that Steven is Rose, but just in a different form.
What is this? Where is Pink?
She's gone.
What did you say? Answer me!
She's gone!
So that was a cool revelation. It took way too long to get there. And then finally at the end, Steven fuses with himself again because he can't live outside of his gem. He was dying unless he got his gem back. But then the whole thing ended, this whole, I think 5-episode finale ended with White Diamond just crying because she actually showed color. She showed some sort of emotion outside of just her supremacy. And then Steven's like, well, if you let people be who they want to be, maybe you'll feel less sad. And White Diamond's like, yeah, maybe you're right. I'm like, so they just because the thing they were doing to Earth, they were mining Earth to leave it a desolate wasteland where no one could live anymore. And they'd done that to hundreds of thousands of planets. And you just want to be like, yeah, it's all good though. How about just let everyone be themselves? White Diamond's like, yeah, maybe they're right. And everything's forgiven. Yay! I know, that's how kind of bizarre it was. And then Steven Universe Future, they added this new character, Spindel, which is actually based off Luffy from One Piece because she has stretchy powers. And she basically says, I'm mad at you because Rose Quartz, Pink Diamond, he said she was going to play with me forever. Then she left for some reason. She never came back. Now I'm angry at you because Pink Diamond left to go, kill herself in order to, fight this war because she didn't want to, be with the diamonds anymore. And then Spindel was mad at Steven, and then a whole big fight scene happened between all of them. She brought a weapon that basically resets gems back to factory setting. Over time, gems form a personality, But then once you're hit with that, you're basically formed back to every gem basically has a function, and it's the reason why they're made. Like pearls are meant to be servants to like higher beings. The sapphires, they can see the future and they're meant to do that. Rubies are meant to be just bodyguards. Like, and every gem has a role and a purpose, but it's kind of viewed as kind of a negative thing, because if you don't fulfill this purpose, you have no use for us. And then they either can destroy you or just reset you and try again. She brought that weapon to try and do that, and then Steven Universe just says, hey, yeah, you don't have to fight anymore. And Spindel's like, yeah, maybe I don't want to fight anymore. I'm like, what was the purpose of any of this? It's like, I want to fight you, I'm angry. Boom, boom, boom. Fight. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Are y'all bipolar? What is happening here? Just some nice words is enough to just convince you, like, yeah, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, which is really interesting because later in, I'll wrap this up here in a second, but early in season 3 or 4, I believe, Steven had to basically kill Jasper. Not really kill, because you have to shatter their gem, but you can destroy their physical form, and their gems are still fine. As long as the gem is fine, they're still alive. And basically that's how they imprison them. Basically had to kill him, throw a ruby out into space, not knowing if they were going to be okay. And then there was another one, I can't remember. But basically Steven had to deal with the fact he was trying to help them, but all of them were angry with him and trying to kill him. And he had to, it was bismuth. This gem named bismuth. Long story. It was this gem named bismuth. And basically he had to just, in one way or another, defeat all of them or do something horrible to them because they were trying to kill him. Okay. And then he felt guilty about it. And I thought that was the lesson they were trying to teach. That sometimes, no matter how much you actually intend to help, you can't help because that person doesn't want help. And now the ending lesson is like, yeah, just be related to the people that tried to kill you and you'll be fine.
If that was the case, so many problems would never exist.
I know, and that was just kind of the big drop-off when I saw that lesson. And Steven Universe Future was okay. But then, like I said, the ending, I've talked to you and Namir about this. Basically, there's this thing called corruption within the gyms, and Steven himself mentally gets corrupted because he's dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder from all the things he's done.
Okay.
And then he... And do you know how powerful he is? White Diamond shows she has the power over all gems. What Steven does, he roars once, knocks out all of the gems, all of the humans, even the diamonds, with one roar. All he did was roar, and all of them got knocked down. Like, this dude's a menace. There's no stopping him. You know how they stop him?
Power friendship.
Hugs! They all just hug him. They all just hug him like, it's okay, Steven. We're all here for you. We'll always be here for you. I'm like, oh, I thought it was going to be more of a climactic fight before this happened. But yeah, all of them just wrap around him. Even there's something called the cluster, which is a bunch of imperfect gems that formed together, and that was the thing that was going to destroy the earth and making another barren wasteland. But it somehow grew a conscience after talking to Steven, and now it can form limbs and come up, and even it was holding Steven down. The power of friendship and hugs.
I don't know. I feel like my brain just got put in a fucking blender. What did you just explain to me?
It's one of those things. When you actually watch the show, you'd probably kind of understand it more. Just some of the points were stupid. Like, so Steven, all he needs were hugs. Well, he basically goes back to normal, and then the ending note is that he's getting therapy. And he's leaving Beach City. But I guess there's talks that they're gonna have like another sequel show from it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so...
Hey, that's why the topic of the episode is shows that started off, great, but ended a little not so great.
I feel... What? Oh my God.
I'm telling you, dude, like I said, I don't mind what I don't mind is I don't mind some of the things they did. it was just the execution of it. Like, it should have been ramping up and stayed ramped up the whole time and actually followed through on their morals. Because, like I said, the whole moral, the whole setup of sometimes you just can't help people even though you really want to because they don't want to be helped is a great message. But then they just throw it away like, yeah, all you have to do is like somehow have a connection with them. And yeah, then everything will just end.
That made my eyes hurt.
You're welcome.
No, thank you.
Speaking of which, let's get you a little bit more ramped up. You see, I saw on that list that you had Ben 10, Omniverse. Why don't you tell me a little about that?
Oh my god. 2 back-to-back confusions. This gave me the conclusions.
Conclusions to the confusions?
Exactly. But I'm actually switching up on you. We're not going to talk about Ben 10. Because I want to talk about Family Guy instead.
I was actually thinking that, like, Family Guy and was it Simpsons, kind of. Two really good.
I've unfortunately never seen Simpsons.
I've seen quite a bit of it, not all of it. But I do agree, 2 shows that, like, were really great for the time that they were, airing. But at the end of the day, just they have gone on for way too long.
Yeah, and then not to like, at least in Family Guy's sense, I thought it was kind of, when it started out, it wasn't great. It wasn't like the best thing since sliced bread. But as it got popular and more consistent, it turned into the thing. It turned into the show where there's like half the episode is cutaways now. Like, yeah, it looks better, but like half the references.
Oh yeah, when they finally cut to HD, that's when. Because I remember it was that special where it was called And Then There Were Fewer, based on the book And Then There Were None, where basically this rich dude comes and invites people and then one by one starts killing them because they're all bad people and they all deserve to die for one reason or another. That's the episode that they were parodying that book, but of course they just killed off some major characters and introduced some new ones.
Yeah.
And that is the one, I defended it for a long while, but after that, yeah, I can't really defend it because it became formulaic.
It does look better. Everything, like, it's just too many cutaways.
I wouldn't even say it looks better in my opinion because the original, when you go back and watch the original, again, it's a lot more stylized is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like you can feel the style of everything that's in there.
Creativity in it. It's kind of like how the OG South Park used to be, like, they showed the opening was just like made from paper and stop motion.
But that was only for like two or three seasons, and then all of it became computer, and that worked for the longest time. But then South Park, it kind of fell a little downhill, I think, after like seasons like 16 or something. Because honest to God, most episodes they were pushing out were banger after banger after banger after banger. But then after a while, just I don't know. I guess maybe they just lost their edge, lost what they want to talk about.
They may have too much going on because I'm pretty sure the guy who works on Family Guy also does American Dad along with like some other stuff too.
Well, I know Seth MacFarlane, he worked on Family Guy for a while, but then I think after like season 5, he gave up the rights for the show. Or at least he gave up being the creative head of the show, gave it up for someone else. And then like, he gave it up for someone else, but he still said he'd come back and do the voices of the characters for as long as they want, because, well, just a free paycheck.
Fair.
Like, I think he just got kind of creatively burnt out from everything.
But that's valid, because, I mean, after as many seasons as it's been going, the well's going to dry up at some point, bro.
It's just kind of like how, well, yeah, Smiling Friends. That show, I love Smiling Friends so much. Yeah, but unfortunately, they're ending it after season 3, which it hasn't been on for very long, I don't think. And it's ending where they don't have that many, like 30 episodes of the entire series. But even the creators have said, well, we're just kind of tired of making the show, and the creative juices aren't flowing, so we don't want to force it or make a show that diminishes in quality.
Yeah.
So at least, even though I'm sad that there's not going to be any more, because I feel like there's millions of stories I could tell, it's better to end on the note that you want rather than, go on for way too long.
It's better to have loved than to not have loved at all, Guardian.
Sure, bud. I don't know what you're referencing, but okay. But yeah, you're talking.
It's better to have loved than to not have loved at all.
I know that quote, but I don't know the Guardian thing.
Oh, it was Destiny from Commander Zavala. He was like, "Get yourself ready." Rest in peace, by the way. The original voice actor died. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was like the guy that made that Toys R Me commercial.
Toys are me.
It's not Toys R Us. It's Toys R Me. You're fired. Mm-hmm. It was great. It was great. You gotta watch it. It's like maybe 2 minutes at best. But.
Yeah. Most of those shows, like American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, South Park,
Honestly,
Simpsons.
I actually think Bob Burgers is still pretty solid.
Bob Barkers.
Do
you actually know that show was supposed to be a show about cannibals?
It makes sense because
basically the original pitch of the show was that they were cannibals, and the morgue next door is where they got the meat for the burgers.
That's insane.
But then they kept most of the locations and characters, but at their Fox is like, yeah, that's way too edgy. Can you tone it down? They're like, oh, fine. And even then, the Tina girl, the oldest daughter, she wasn't even originally a character. But they just thought the family would be more dynamic and less boring if they added in a third character. Like a third child.
Unfortunately, I think their children are like super annoying, but I feel like that was the point.
That was the point.
Oh, yeah, like Louise and Jean, I love them, but I can probably at best take 5 minutes of them.
I'm sorry, how Jean and Bob argue was the funniest freaking thing. Like when he dressed up as Bob and was like, oh my god, he's like, oh my god, he's like, that's not how I sound, and what's his wife's name? Linda's like, I don't know, Bobby, that sounds pretty good. He's like, it does not sound good,
Bobby. That sounds pretty accurate.
Like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. I sound very good. It's like, oh, he's super good. And everyone's like, yeah, he's really good. But I was like, he's not really good. It's like, it's basically the whole show is just rage baiting the show.
I believe it, because I remember there was that one episode where he's stuck in the wall and he was like, Linda, I'm stuck in the wall. Get some help. But make sure you don't get help too fast. Just like, then he was like, Linda, help. I'm stuck in the wall.
One of my favorite ones is like he was trying to teach Tina how to drive. I think Tina was like 12 or 13 at that point. Well, and like trying to have like a father-daughter, like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to drive a little bit. And it was a very open parking lot with nothing. There were some cars in there, but then they were just slowly, he's like, all right, you got plenty of time to turn. Just remember you have a brake.
You're just swerving back and forth. Turn one way and stick with it, Tina. Tina, for the love of God!
Put the brake! Extra, turn the wheel! Or give me that wheel! Just even... and then she crashed into a car. It was like a whole, like, 2-minute sequence of her, like... while Bob is, like, trying to reaffirm her, like, for God's sake, do something!
Tina, turn the
wheel! I'm going to rewatch that show. That might have to be a show I just...
rewatching it. That and my late great father of Texas.
King of the Hill, especially the remake.
Oh no, I restarted the series. It's gonna be 8-time, baby.
That fucking hard. But anyway, let's move on to. I have a few more. Some more rapid fire. You already talked about it. One Punch Man. Season 1, the animation. We went from like some of the absolute top tier animation to some of the absolute lowest tier, and even the fact they're probably using AI. Like we went from this to this.
No, effectively, you went from. I forgot what I was going to say.
So I feel like your mind pulled a Tina. Anyway, we'll move on. My actual two of my final ones are going to be Invincible, because nothing topped season 1. Season 1 was absolutely amazing with the murder mystery. At the end of episode 1 of season 1,
felt like season 2 and like don't I have 3 seasons and the 4th one just released?
Yeah, 4th one just released.
I kind of felt like season 2 and 3 were kind of like weird, but
they were just kind of mid, because again, I think the biggest problem with them is that events are going on way too fast and don't feel like they have any impact on the characters.
You're talking about, for example, that the Invincible War.
That was
so stupid.
That was way too fast. Also, Mark had showed he's been training, yet he still gets his ass beat like every episode.
Yeah.
And then the biggest problem with the show is power scaling and the pacing. The pacing is so wonky and weird nowadays. Especially because the thing that kept it up in the first one was kind of the murder mystery. You saw Nolan did this, but why did he kill the Guardians? And then it was this whole big slow burn, while also kind of slowly showing Mark, get used to his powers. But then at that point, it's like, whenever you see a Viltrumite, you should be like, oh shit, we're cooked.
But you saw a bunch of them, and we didn't even see how they fought, got cooked. They're just dead.
Yeah. And then we just see the Invincible Wars, cool. Why do I see Mark fighting Mark and I just don't feel anything? I feel,
I thought it was gonna be a lot longer, just for it to be. No, I swear to, it was kind of like this. Yo, that's What? Why is Peter Cullen here?
Or basically the biggest problem I think he had was just mainly power scaling. Or even then, when Conquest finally showed up, which I knew he was going to because I read a little bit of the comics. But that's about as far as I got in the comics. He goes, stand ready for my arrival, Worm. I'm like, why do I not feel anything? I should feel something. This is a Viltrumite, one of the biggest, baddest Viltrumites that ever existed. Yet I feel nothing when I see him.
You're gonna be in a good surprise when you start season 4.
I hope so. People are already kind of cooking it. But then again, internet's always super negative, which we're kind of being right now. But then again, it's kind of the truth. We just kind of thought it kind of fell off. But no, my actual big, main, last one, Legend of Korra. I want to get you on another tangent. You're turning into the Joker?
Oh.
Seems like you are. But anyways, season 1 started off really, really good and really, really strong. Now Korra was a bit reckless and a little bit of a bonehead when it came to things, but I kind of liked that was her charm personality of she found out she could bend at a very early age, so of course she's going to be a little cocky.
And she mastered earth, fire, and water at birth. Let's just...
Well, I don't think she mastered it, but it showed how she had a deep connection with it, and that's how they heavily knew she was the Avatar. And then over the years, she learned how to absolutely master them. She mastered all of them, but she still gets her ass kicked. That is kind of a big criticism. But then she finally shows up to the city, and out of nowhere just starts wrecking the place. Korra, there's civilians here and everything, don't you? But then finally you learn no one respects her as the Avatar. And I think that is kind of the biggest problem of the series. No one really respects her as the Avatar. But then she never did anything to prove herself except for kind of taking out Amon and unlocking airbending. But that I thought was good. A little clunky, but
Isn't Amon season 1's villain where he could seal your bending because he was a waterbender?
Yeah, he was secretly a waterbender, but he did truly believe that bending was the root of all evil.
She didn't take out Amon.
She did. Well, she didn't take him out, but she defeated him.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, technically, yes, she did, because
Her brother defeated Amon's brother defeated him.
No, defeating doesn't mean killing. Defeating just means she won in the battle and tore down on his ideology and also tore down his regime. So he beat her. Well, no, she beat him in a fight. And then finally revealed to everyone who he really was. So she won the fight, but didn't technically take him out. I do agree with that was his brother. So yeah, she defeated him, but it was his brother who made sure he wouldn't come back.
I think we need another run back because at this point they're tied 1-1. We need a tiebreaker personally, and I don't think Korra's built like that. But continue cooking. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personally that's just what I think. Then season 2 went way off the rails because it starts off as she's back at her hometown with her family, and then suddenly she meets her uncle, who's somehow a spirit bender, which she doesn't know about, despite her being the Avatar. And then turns out her uncle was evil the whole time and wants to become the Dark Avatar, which I'm like, I feel like this is something I would write when I was 12 in my emo phase in high school. What is happening? The Dark Avatar. Put on Tommy Maguire hair, and it's evil because it's dark. Look at all the black and the red. Oh, it's so evil and dark.
Dude.
And then the way they retcon all the bending, the way the way they retconned it to where it was lion turtles that gave everyone their powers instead of, it coming from the animals themselves. Like the air bisons, the badger moles.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, the giant lion turtles are cool. And then introducing the first Avatar is really cool. But
the stuff they retconned was just a little underwhelming and lame. But then...
Superb.
Season 3, I think, is the best one. And the one I enjoy watching the most.
And season 3 is the evil evil team Avatar, correct?
Yeah, technically. I wouldn't exactly call them evil team Avatar. I think they were the Red Lotus, is what
they
call
were, but they're effectively the evil team.
Yeah, but then, and basically at the end of season 2, Korra opens up, the spirit portal, and basically that somehow gives a lot more people airbending, which that does kind of confuse me. It's like, why do people just get airbending, though? There's a theory going around, I think you said it too, where it was airbenders are more spiritually inclined with spirits, or like closer to spirits than other bending, which I don't fully agree with, because...
Considering, now that you think about it, the person who was spirit bending was a water bender. Mm-hmm. But to be fair...
But it's just like, so was it only earth bending, or did all benders? But it seems like only air bending got it, which is whatever. But then the main bad guy of the series, he wasn't a bender, then he got airbending. And his favorite philosopher just happened to be an airbender. And it just so happened that his girlfriend died in the previous fight. And just happened his favorite philosopher showed him how to fly, which was the only known airbender that was able to do that. Which that is like stars aligned, planets aligned, galaxies, universe, the gods themselves aligned to make that happen.
They all put their spears into a little star shape and just said, "We bestow upon thee, air no man."
We bestow upon you bullshit writing so you can actually be a threat.
Dude, and honestly,
I mean, he was menacing and I liked him. Like him suffocating the Air Queen.
Dude.
Air Queen.
The
Earth
Earth
Queen.
Queen. Bro, he is low-key one of my favorite airbenders, period. Just because, like, he showed how... People really don't understand how deadly airbending is. And he was just like, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Got the air out from your lungs?
Yeah, he's like, yep, you're dead. He was going a little ham out there. But then, what?
The fight with the Earthbender girl was so upsetting in my soul, because I felt it boil my soul, because I'm like, you mastered Earthbending, but you're getting cooked by an Earthbender. Don't you have the thing you spam every fight? Mm-hmm. Which Aang would never.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Aang lost his fair share of fights,
but
too.
He never spammed Avatar. In every major fight. He only used Avatar State he used it against Zuko's evil sister, the Fire Lord, and like the first time accidentally.
Oh, yeah, but don't you know they changed how the Avatar State worked? And by the way, at the end of season 2, she lost the connection to all of her previous Avatar. Lost all the previous Avatars. Mm-hmm. Because technically Rava died, but then there's somehow light within darkness. You just need to find it. She found it and basically making her the first in the cycle again, which the Avatar State used to be. It basically aligns you with all the knowledge from the previous Avatars, which is what made you so powerful. But at the beginning, Aang couldn't control it, but then he learned how to control it, and he basically was all the Avatars in one. And that is scary, having that many lives, that much knowledge into one being. That is more scary than I think people realize. And now it's just, it's just when Rava and Korra are fully linked. Yeah, fully aligned.
Now it's just a book because she lost it. Mm-hmm. Like the next Avatar is supposed to be is supposed to just magically find this, and I swear to God, if the first sentence is, "Hey, you're really blessed, but I did some shit and fucked it up," and it's just like, what is this book supposed to tell me?
Yeah.
Oh, I fought spirits. So why am I getting a book?
I kind of don't know what you're talking about, but...
No, because she can't, they don't do the Avatar reincarnation thing anymore. She has to physically write down her experience for the next Avatar. They're not linked whatsoever.
Well, no, they are linked. Just one that comes after her is going to be what's linked now.
Dude, I really hope it's not true, because I heard that they're not linked at all. And if they're not linked, I swear.
I'm pretty sure how it is that And just she is now basically the first Avatar again.
I really hope so, because I'm gonna be real.
But then in season 4, what happens is we get one interaction with this one girl in season 3, and then she becomes the basically ruler of the Earth Kingdom somehow.
The big bad, because she was like a super.
Yeah, I forget her name because she's so bland. The only thing that I remember about her is how 0 to 100 she can go in a second, and she's just crazy. What does she want? She wants the Earth Kingdom back. Okay, and what else?
The Earth Kingdom to be great again.
And what? How? Like, why do you want that? Oh no, that's all the motivation we need.
Well, I thought it was because she was saying the Earth people were like regressing back to being repressed for whatever reason, and then because no one was doing anything about it, she went 0 to like 100 because she was like, okay, since y'all not doing nothing about it, I'm finna start world domination.
But that's the thing. I don't think the show actually showed that. Aside from showing the land that they don't have anymore, I don't really feel like the show really showed that.
They actually showed her being more tyrannical and kind of doing the thing she's supposed to be preventing, because I remember like in one scene with Bo Ling specifically before he was recruited onto her team, they were going to like different nations and like stuffing people in their trains to drag them to the Earth Kingdom to basically concentration camp they ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're supposed to bring power back to the Earth Kingdom, right? Stay with me now. You're going to do the thing to other nations that you're getting upset about.
I mean, people in power usually contradict themselves in ways like that.
Yeah, because I thought it was cool though, how like she could metal bend her armor like that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But then she was so tyrannical, she almost killed her lover. She used the spirit vines to create this giant mech straight out of Pacific Rim, and finally Korra and them had this big battle to where it opened a new portal to the spirit world. It just feels like they're just and then everything. Yes, and everything. Just like, oh, yes, and, yes, and, yes, and, yes, and. It's like...
And then, yes, and a random romance between her and the love interest. I don't remember. I think it's Asaka or Asami. I think it's Asami.
Yeah, it's Asami. While it shows that in season 4, she only wrote to Asami because she's the only one she could trust, I guess.
Which is stupid. But
I do feel like that was they wanted to do that from what I read. They wanted to do that for the longest time, but didn't think they could. But then the final episode came and it's like, screw it, we can do it. They did it, but they didn't say it. They just heavily implied it.
With one note.
But then they confirmed it online. Like, yeah, that was supposed to mean like they're an item now. They're a couple.
I mean, I hope so. They swap saliva. We get my boy Bo Ling needs respect. He was cucked.
Well, they didn't actually kiss in the show. They just held hands.
It's because it flashed before you saw it.
No.
Either way.
Yeah, but then no. The biggest problem I don't really have a problem with that. The only problem I have is that they didn't really show that in the show. They're just like, oh yeah, this is a thing now. It's like, okay, that's out left field.
My problem is that Korra is not the coolest character in most, like, her villains are more compelling than she is. She's flawed. That's perfectly fine. She's not perfect. It's a more grown team Avatar. That's cool. As an Avatar, I hope she gets ran over and shot 30 times with a railgun because she's garbage. As a person, I hope someone punches her in her neck when she's pregnant.
Well, she stopped the tyrannical lady because remember
sucks.
Because the tyrannical lady, all she need, like they were in the spirit world and she just told her, oh yeah, I'm just really mad because my people were oppressed. And then Korra's like, I feel you, bro. And she's like, oh yeah, maybe I did act a little crazy. It came back to the spirit world. It's like, I'll accept any punishment you give me. Trying to be like noble about it. It's like, what are we doing with this final season?
Aang would have beat her in a fight though, I'm just saying.
No one's arguing that.
Because, like, I'm sorry. She has to talk down everybody she can't beat in a fight. You're not that good of an Avatar, in my personal opinion. For the first one, what's his name? Way better. And he had to fight literal gods. You fought that god one time and you almost got smoked and you needed help from the opposite counterpart. Ma'am, go sit in a corner. Nobody likes you. Get off the screen. Why are you even in the show right now? Leave. Respect for my man's Bo Ling. He's a king.
So, that was... some of our shows that we thought started off a little rocky, but came back and, started off great, but then ended very rocky, or even just bad. There are some other shows. Maybe we'll do a part 2 to this, but...
As long as Korra's not involved, I'm okay with it. I'm about to cry. I'm so mad.
7 Deadly Sins and Korra is just your weak spot.
They are. I'm so upset about them.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, save, and subscribe. Send prayers to Bruce because he really needs it right now. All right, bye guys.